Welcome back to Artifact Cup 30. This is round 2 on the Boneyard. Game 4 out of 5 in the round. Not that it really matters what order we watch them in. This is the round robin tournament, so this is the first time, as far as I know, that the Artifact Cup has done a round robin tournament, meaning all 11 players will play all 9 games in the tournament, with the maps predetermined for them. We are watching Megarith here in the Coalition.
Multiple artifact signals have been detected within target range. Be advised.
And I'm going to watch what his base runner does, because I always do. Looks like this one is going to be piloted just fine. He's going to retire that one. But you never know with him.
Move to location.
He's got a tricky base runner. Pilot. Driver? Pilot. They're called ships, but they're on the ground. I don't know. And his opponent is Saturas in the Knef carrier.
Salvager online. Proceed to rally point.
And this is going to be fun. I believe Saturas is the only Knef player in this tournament, but at least as far as what he's played in the tournament. But maybe I'm misremembering that. In any case, it's always fun to see the Knef. So taking a quick look at the salvagers, Saturas looks like he opened CUs, went into RUs. Nothing really super unusual here. Went for Sand Skimmer Fab. He's going to start building more collectors over here.
Construction units
pretty typical stuff. There's not really anything we can read from that and,
you
know, make any guesses as to any crazy strategy. We're just going to have to wait and see what he techs up with. And Megarith,
go for carry.
kind of doing the same thing. Well, actually, no, not quite. Okay. Megarith has gone for CUs on both deposits, forgoing some of that early RU income, and has also gone for a very, very early support cruiser, while simultaneously pursuing LAV Fab. So, retiring the base runner to get a few extra CUs on hand. He's been doing that. He's going to have a pretty strong economy starting off, because he's going to almost immediately be on 2 full bases, while Saturas, even though he is going for this production cruiser refinery mode, is going to have to pay a little more and work a little harder and wait longer in order to be able to mine fully off of both of these positions. So, interesting gambit. It does leave Megarith pretty vulnerable, just because going for such a super all-in economic move is always risky like that. But hey, look, he's on the full resource point there. He's already got 3 salvagers over here. As long as he doesn't die, which he won't, because Saturas did the same thing, it'll pay off. Saturas, meanwhile, yeah, really doing like the same stuff. He's building a production cruiser.
Salvager online.
So, I don't know if these players just know each other or had some sort of a gentleman's agreement, but both of these players have gone really, really greedy macro openings. Just to reinforce this a little bit, the clock is now at 27:10, meaning a little under 3 minutes have passed in the game. Against a coalition player, who has the build order down, can have AAVs like here in that time, or maybe even into here by now.
Move to location.
This is incredibly risky. Saturas didn't have extra power reserve, had just 1 power and missile system. AAV streaming in here right now would just instantly win the game against Saturas.
Be advised, enemy support vehicle authenticated.
So I'm kind of, I'd be very interested to hear from both of the players whether this was just a calculated risk, was this an educated guess, was it just totally crazy and reckless that they both went for these super greedy economic opens. I don't know, but it's going to be really interesting. We've got a little bit of skirmishing here. That's going to be cleared up by Saturas' Sand Skimmers. And these 2 LAVs are going to scout, but not really accomplish anything, I'm guessing, because the carrier's going to hit them off. What he is going to see, though, is hopefully he sees that there is a production cruiser here. He's going to see that there's an economic opening, and he's going to see that the carrier has been moving across, and that there's a salvager here. Hopefully he understands that, you know, while he did get the early economic open, he's already about to be behind, because Saturas now is on 2 bases and is opening up on a 3rd. There's a lot going on along the map, so I'm going to try and show you the action and then talk about some of the other action. We've got an artifact pickup from Megarith. Now, Saturas already grabbed an artifact, and Megarith is going to be losing his LAV contingent over here that was poking around to a still small force of Sand Skimmers from Saturas. That's probably going to threaten this base runner, but given that there's an AAV here, that base runner probably won't die. At least not to the sand skimmers. At least not yet, because there are heavy railguns here. And Saturas, it looks like, is going to go for the second artifact here. So Saturas definitely interested in these artifacts, wants to apply that pressure, if not use it for carrier power. This is always wise, given that he's got a Knef carry here. And look at this, already here on, you know, basically he's going to have another salvager here in a second. So he's basically on 3 full bases. Megarith, nice smoke here to prevent the railguns from firing on the base runner, and then is going to use the natural line of sight blockers to keep his base runner alive. Even though it looks like you might be able to shoot through some little corridors in here, these are totally opaque line of sight blockers, even if you're high up. Military-wise, Megarith's really got almost nothing. He's got AAVs, which is going to protect him against these units from coming in and destroying everything he's got back home. But he's got really no counter yet to the railguns. He's researching fighter and gunship tech, which will help.
Enemy light attack vehicle marked on approach.
Yeah, so, you know, this... I think given that we knew that Saturas had railguns, this is, at best, a throwaway unit. You know, it'll take out a salvager, that's cool. If it takes out 2, it'll probably pay for itself.
Deploy smoke screen.
Which, given that smoke, hey, yeah, that's pretty good, okay. So, I take it back. This AV was probably a good idea. I would definitely get in there, yeah, behind the smoke. I don't know.
Armored vehicle.
It was an okay idea, anyway.
Displacing now.
It was at least distracting. Maybe that distraction has a lot of value, given that Megarith wanted to get this base runner in, and is pretty thin on the forces that he has. Now that he's got the fighter and gunship tech, he's going to build some strike fighters, which is going to be great at dealing with these railguns. Not really the best at dealing with sand skimmers, which the Saturas now has a lot of, but he does have AAVs. So he's covered there. And so all things considered, it's really up to Saturas now to choose the technology, or choose the strategy anyway, that is going to turn this game in his favor. Megarith, meanwhile, sitting on a lot of resources, burning a lot of RUs there on the strike fighters, and now is going to be building some LAVs to burn the CUs. But he's going to have some catching up to do, because Saturas just has all these sand skimmers that are very upgraded. Both damage and speed and armor upgrades, all in play.
Combat alert. Moving up. Support craft lost. Carrier copies. We're clear to proceed.
Light attack vehicle online. Strike fighter ready for service.
Ranged calibration is really neat technology, if you're not super familiar with it. It allows the heavy railguns to toggle this mode on. And it stays on after you use it, and then you can turn it off again. And you just have to wait 10 seconds after you turn it off or on to be able to switch it again. And it makes the railguns go really, really slow, but it gives them more range and more vision. So these can become really super ranged railguns. I think it even gives them more accuracy. But they become kind of sitting ducks when that happens. Still, very good against other railgun forces, because you can outrange railguns that would normally be at roughly equivalent range. You can sit really way back and still participate in a fight. So here's the fight to watch. There are sand skimmers coming in, and there are strike fighters coming out. Megarith's going to rally them together so they're in a big group, and Saturas is going to see them, but he hasn't moved his railguns back yet. These railguns are really in danger no matter what. No matter what AA tech that Saturas has, these railguns are very vulnerable. And what remains to be seen is where Megarith uses them. Looks like Megarith is going to go for like a production cruiser or the... There we go, production cruiser. Okay. That's... I'm not surprised by that. 7 strike fighters kind of guarantees that that production cruiser will go down. And it just seems like a Megarithian thing to do, to drive somebody to the production cruiser. And he's going to go for some other resources. So there's going to be a lot of economic damage here. You can see that these salvagers really clumped up together, take a lot of AoE damage from these aircraft. And that's not necessarily, you know, that's really Saturas' mistake for not moving them. It's very, very common, but most people do not move their salvagers around to avoid the AoE damage. So these railguns, however, are alive, and there are just some LAVs here to deal with them. Now, Megarith has the numbers to be able to take care of this sand skimmer blob, especially because there's an AAV back here. But the LAVs are split, and the LAVs are also not as upgraded as these sand skimmers. So my guess is these LAVs will all die. Most of the sand skimmers will stay alive. this resource point will be lost. Okay, we're going to lose some railguns over here. So that's actually really good for Megarith.
Fire on the move.
But he just has to make sure that he maintains this home here. He has to make sure that he doesn't give up his resourcing the way that Saturas gave up his.
Reposition. Overdrive. Punch it.
Armored assault online.
Green line.
Megarith also is stacking a huge number of resources. He should be spamming aircraft right now, spamming LAVs, spamming technologies.
Hostile forces are attempting to extract an
3,500 float is just too much float. Especially when you've got a situation like this where you could be building a support cruiser, for example, with those CUs to cover this point. You could be building more LAVs to fend off these fast-moving sand skimmers and kill these railguns. You know, look at economically. Saturas now is like split. This is hard to defend. He hasn't re-rallied or moved back to cover this area. He's just building another production cruiser.
Take us out.
Saturas is very vulnerable right now. And Megarith, rather than having a lot of forces available to bring to bear, has
ready for service.
a lot of resources in the tank. That said, Megarith does have a lot of strike fighters here that are available and not flying, which could be using their missiles and those recharge cycles. Take out yet another production cruiser. Imagine the value of taking down 1 or 2 more production cruisers before
Gunship is now in circulation.
another production cruiser pops out. I mean, that's economic, not just discouragement or damage, but like demoralization. There are missile ships out in the field, but with this many strike fighters, 10 available, plus a gunship, Megarith could definitely take down the missile ship and then still take down a production cruiser. So, very valuable. This, not so valuable. There's railguns here. Come on, man.
Light attack vehicle in service.
Can't really fight these railguns with AAVs, especially spread out like this. That's a scouting force that's good at taking out these sand skimmers, maybe, but not so good against the railguns. That said, Megarith's got carrier power, so the railguns will die. The AVs are just going to take damage for it. And the gunship here, I don't know that this is... We'll see how it plays out. There's a ton of aircraft here, and I'm guessing a lot of these aircraft missiles were wasted, in the sense that they're targeting units that are not, you know, where the missiles are hitting multiple times on the same unit, not targeting the missile ship. A lot of the missiles are missing. It's not a very coordinated air attack. I would say this is... Oof, this has been a really bad fight for Megarith. The missile ships were not dealt with. There were several here. They were not scouted. And meanwhile, this is wide open. There is a very powerful KNF carrier here with 4 power and carrier missiles, and Megarith cannot fight with his carrier. He is absolutely outmatched by that KNF carrier and lost almost all of his aircraft. And has really not much else to show for it. He's got some LAVs. And the economy of Saturas is suffering, especially compared to the economy of Megarith back home. But militarily, Megarith is really struggling. Megarith doesn't have railgun tech, which, for example, would help a lot here. Megarith still has some float, really not producing these LAVs fast enough. It's going to have assault cruiser tech, so that's really interesting. I don't know what that's going to do. Maybe it's for dealing with the sand skimmers, which makes some sense, and it is going to work against the missile ships and maybe even these railguns. So hey, this might work. But the real problem is this KNF carrier. All these missiles are going to do so much damage to Megarith's carrier. Megarith needs to get out now. He's got Saturas really on the run, but his carrier cannot be in here fighting. I'm actually really surprised at how well Megarith has cleaned up using this assault cruiser and these LAVs, but this carrier is so dead. It is so dead. It would be really nice to be able to bring out another assault cruiser right on top of this KNF carrier, but this is dangerous. There's no way this assault cruiser can put down enough damage to kill this KNF carrier before the carrier kills this coalition carrier. And I think Saturas knows it. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Megarith hasn't realized it, at least not soon enough. He's not moving determinedly enough away. And his window of opportunity to retreat quickly may be lost. It's just going to be another couple of missiles, and Megarith's carrier will go down. Not even 2, just 1 missile.
Mission failed. All ships
So,
fall back.
interesting game. I think Megarith had a real... Both players actually had excellent economies. Megarith a little bit better at applying economic damage onto the forces of Saturas, especially near the end. Really good at applying that economic damage, but I think misplayed with the aircraft and misplayed with the carrier, which is too bad. But really exciting game. Definitely hard to keep track of it at some time, so I hope that I kept up well enough for you all. There's one more game in round 2 of Artifact Cup 30, so I will be casting that shortly, and then we'll be on to round 3. And there are 9 rounds in this, so get ready. I mean, there's going to be a lot of Artifact Cup 30 coming your way. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.